Hello there.
If you're new to Dungeons & Dragons, you might have heard about the alignment chart. But what does it mean? There's a lot of different and conflicting thoughts out there. Some people simplify it, some overcomplicate. In D&D, alignment is based off of two metrics, good versus evil and lawful versus chaotic, allowing for 9 different possibilities. But the question becomes, how do you define good and evil, or even lawful and chaotic? The concepts of morality and order sound simple, but humanity, in all of its existence, has never been able to agree on the subject. Look at law. Laws change from country to country, state to state, and while it's a perfectly reasonable character choice to have your PC follow rules, be they the laws of a republic or the orders of a tyrant, your physical location shouldn't be the only thing determining your actions. So, I prefer to see the question of lawful versus chaotic more so in terms of whether you value how or why something is done. If being true to your personal code, your values, is the most important thing to your character, if you care about how something is done, then you're considered lawful. If you're an ends justifies the means kind of person, well, then you're considered chaotic. And if you take it on a case-by-case basis, you're neutral. My favorite example of a lawful extreme comes from Douglas Adams' description of the Vogon race in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Vogons are described as an alien race that wouldn't even lift their finger to save their grandmothers from the ravenous bug-blatter beast of Trawl without orders signed in triplicate, sent in, sent back, queried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and finally buried in soft peat for 3 months and recycled as firelighters. To the Vogons, nothing is more sacred than bureaucracy. They care most about how something is done, and that makes them highly predictable creatures. Alternatively, you can use Marvel's Loki as an example of chaotic. He has no one way of doing things, no respect for hierarchy. To him, the objective, the goal, is the most important thing, not how you get there. For him, allies become enemies, and enemies become allies at the turn of a hat. But, because of how much he values why he is doing something, he is also quite predictable. Remember, predictable isn't a bad thing. Alignments are meant to help guide how you want to play your character. If you're not sure what to do during roleplay, ask yourself what your character values, and then make a choice based off that. Now, as for the debate of good versus evil, I think we can all agree that's a can of worms. I personally don't want to touch a subject that has been arguably the cause of every religious conflict to date. So, instead, let's view good versus evil as altruistic versus selfish. If you value other people's ways of life and safety more than your own, you should be considered good. A clear example of this is sacrificing your life to save your friends. But if you're a person who is greedy and self-centered, then you'd be defined as evil. A clear example of this is someone who hoards untold wealth. Let's say so much wealth that they could single-handedly end the homeless epidemic in the United States, just because they can. And, of course, a neutral character would fall somewhere between these extremes. Before I end this video, I just want to make it clear that it's okay for a good character to do bad things, for a lawful character to slip up. That's normal. We, as real people, do that all the time. And it's also okay for your character's alignment to change throughout a campaign. Sometimes these failings or moments of growth are the best things for the story and the game. As a DM myself, I would just ask that your choices are motivated, and that you can try to keep the game fun for all the players. Remember, it's a game. Let's all have fun. And always keep in mind, the alignment chart is more of what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. See you next time!
Bye, everybody!